Today we will talk about section of solid. Yesterday I had introduced you the solids and section of solids. So when a plane cuts a solid, the cut portion is removed and the section with new corners are obtained on the sides or edges of the solid. These points are connected in the projections and joined in proper sequence to show the section in that view. The cutting plane is same as the one discussed in the projections of planes and are represented by their traces. So how to draw the sections? First you draw the projection of the solid, then draw the trace of the cutting plane. Carefully mark the new corners on the edges cut by the cutting plane, then project them to the other view. Cutting plane will be in one of the following positions: inclined to HP and perpendicular to VP, inclined to VP and perpendicular to HP, perpendicular to both VP and HP, perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP, perpendicular to VP and parallel to HP. So here is an example. A square prism of base side 30 mm and axis length 60 mm is resting on HP on one of its bases, with the base side inclined at 25 degree to VP. It is cut by a plane inclined at 40 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP and is bisecting the axis of the prism. Draw its front view, sectional top view and the true shape of the section. Draw the top view and project the front view of the prism. Draw the trace of the cutting plane at 40 degree to XY. Then mark the new corners in the front view and project them to top view to that apparent section. Draw new reference line x1, y1 and use the distance of new corners in top view from the xy and mark from x1, y1. Then join them to get the true shape of the section. Next problem. A square pyramid of base side 30 mm and axis length 60 mm is resting on HP on its base with one side of base inclined at 30 degree to VP. It is cut by a plane inclined at 45 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP and passes to the axis at a distance 25 mm from the apex. Draw its front view, sectional top view and the true shape of the section. So first you draw the XY line, then you draw the top view and project the front view of the pyramid. Draw the trace of the cutting plane at 45 degree to XY. Mark the new corners in the front view and project them to get the top view and get the apparent section. Draw new reference line x1, y1 and use the distance of new corners in top view from xy and mark from x1, y1. Then join them to get the true shape of the section. Next problem. A cylinder of base diameter 40 mm and axis length 55 mm is rested on HP on its base. It is cut by a plane inclined at 45 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP. The plane is passing through a point on the circumference of the top view. Draw its front view, sectional top view and true shape of the section. Draw top view and project front view of the cylinder. Draw the trace of cutting plane at 45 degree to XY. Mark the new corners in front view, then project them to top view to that apparent section. Draw the new reference line x1, y1 and use the distance of new corners in top view from xy and mark from x1, y1. Then join them to get the true shape of the section as an ellipse. Next problem. A cone of base diameter 65 mm and axis length 75 mm resting on the HP on its base is cut by a plane inclined at 45 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP and passing through a point 35 mm below the apex. Draw the front view, sectional top view and the true shape of its section. Draw top view and project front view of the cone. Draw the trace of the cutting plane at 45 degree to XY. Mark the new corners in front view and project them to that top view to get the apparent section. Draw the new reference line x1, y1 and use the distance of new corners in top view from xy and mark from x1, y1. Then join them to get the true shape of section as an ellipse. Next problem. A square prism of base side 45 mm and axis length 90 mm stands on the HP with its axis vertical such that its faces are equally inclined to the VP. The prism is cut by a plane perpendicular to VP inclined at 60 degree to HP and passing through the point of the axis of the prism 65 mm above HP. Draw its front view, sectional top view and the true shape of the section. We will draw the top view and then project the front view of the prism. Draw trace of the cutting plane at 60 degree to XY. Mark the new corners in front view and project them to top view. Draw new reference line x1, y1 and use the distance of new corners in top view from xy and mark from x1, y1 and then join them to get the true shape of the section. So there are some tips to draw the sections. Draw the projections of the solid, then draw the trace of the cutting plane. Carefully mark the new corners on the edges cut by the cutting plane, then project them to the other view. When a solid is resting on the horizontal plane on its base and the cutting plane passes through a base in front view, then 2 points will be obtained on that base. The point in the front and behind are coinciding and are marked clearly in top view. So here are some reference books which you can follow for getting knowledge on the more on the projection of section of solids. Thank you. That's all for today.